I spent $125 on VEO3 in order to create a complete ultra-realistic fake news video. And this is how I did it.
Learning AI with Katharina.
Hi everyone, my name is Katarina Doria. I'm an AI ethicist and I teach people more about artificial intelligence and how they can stay protected in this digital age. If you're interested in this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow me on other social media. Today, I'm going to share with you why and how I created a 1.5-minute video using VEO3. Before I share with you why and how, I want to share with you the video that I created. So without further ado, let's start the video. This is Brazil leaving Latin America to join the European Union. It sounds crazy, but you'll see how realistic it looks.
In a surprising turn of events, Brazil has announced plans to join the European Union, citing growing distance from Latin America, Larissa Peterson reports.
What once seemed far-fetched is now dangerously close. Analysts say it may signal a global shift. We spoke with geopolitical analyst Dr. Miguel Lima and history professor Camila Dorado.
The timing makes sense. Europe is looking for new strategic partners. And Brazil it's redefining its role on the global stage.
It's not just about geography anymore. It's about alignment and influence.
While analysts debate timelines, everyday Brazilians say the shift's been a long time coming.
A gente só espera que seja de verdade, né? Ser europeu, a gente se sente mais valorizado lá do que aqui.
Ah, não seria nada ruim ter passaporte europeu, né?
The streets have spoken. Now all eyes turn to Brussels. For now, the world watches and waits. Back to you, Tim.
There's been no official word from Brussels, but internal memos suggest early-stage negotiations may already be underway.
You believe this? Why? This video was all AI, scripted, shared, and trusted.
So what did you think about the video? Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Was it good? Was it bad? And at what point did you notice that that video was AI generated? Now that you watched the video, you might be asking yourself, Katarina, why on earth did you create a fake news video that Brazil is leaving Latin America to join the European Union? And the answer is pretty simple. I am an AI ethicist, and I am trying to teach people the importance of learning about artificial intelligence and learning how to stay protected. I already started a series called Is This AI or Not, where I show people different types of content and they have to let me know if it's AI or not. And somehow I wanted to find new people. I wanted to create a new way to show people how artificial intelligence is getting way too good and that now is the moment to start learning about this technology before it is too late. So that's the reason why I did it. Let's talk about the how I did it. First, I want to tell you that I used 3 paid subscriptions. I used ChatGPT Pro, CapCut Pro, and Google Ultra AI. Using those tools, I had 8 different steps in order to create that VEO3 video. The 8 steps that I had were 1. Having the idea. 2. Writing the script. 3. Using ChatGPT to enhance the scenes. 4. Choosing my AI tools. 5. Generating the big scenes using VEO3. 6. Generating the B-rolls with VEO2. 7. Generating voice with Gemini 2.5. And 8. Editing everything together using CapCut. So let's start with the first step. Ideation. To me, it all started with the idea, how can I create something realistic that could generate a little bit of buzz, make people believe it until they didn't anymore? I don't know if you remember the video of the kangaroo that went viral, and to me, that was a great example. Because when you think about it, it's obvious that a kangaroo would never be holding a boarding pass to go to a plane. But when you're watching that video, it's so cute and so realistic that that thought is only an afterthought and not the before thought. You watch the video, you feel sad about the kangaroo, and then you're like, oh wait, this was fake news. And I wanted to create a similar kangaroo effect. I wanted something that could be real, but of course it's not, but something that would be so realistic that people would watch and see and maybe even believe in. So then I created something extremely insane that Brazil was leaving Latin America to join the European Union. Why Brazil? Because I am Brazilian and I love to highlight my country in everything that I do. In this case, I also knew that I wanted to deliver this in the most realistic way possible. And we always talk about the cliche that is like news anchors, and when you're watching the news, there's always like a breaking news or something like that. I wanted to play with the idea of Brazil leaving Latin America, plus this being a breaking news that our reporter was reporting on. Then it was time to do the second thing, writing the script. So this was the part that I had to take my idea, okay, Brazil is going to leave Latin America, and really consolidate that into something. In order to break down the scenes, I had to really think about what are the sections needed in order to have a news segment. Thought about the news anchor, and then I thought about the reporter that normally doesn't appear but has their voice on the background while B-roll plays. Then there's B-roll scenes of, people walking and drone shots and whatever. Then we have the people that you interview, so the experts, and then you go to the streets and interview the people to know what they're thinking about. That's normally the structure, and that's what I wanted to my video. So then in my script, that's exactly what I did. I started with a news anchor, then I went to the B-roll, and then I went to the experts, and then I went to the streets, and then I concluded, and then I went back to the news anchor. I just really specified what I wanted each scene to have, who needed to appear in what scene, and what was the purpose of that specific scene. Overall, I only had 2 pages of script because I didn't want to create something lengthy. I needed to do something fast. And then I went to the next step. So with ChatGPT, I took my 8 scenes. In the end, there were 16, right? 8 big scenes and 8 B-rolls. And then I put everything on ChatGPT and I asked it to transform my little sentences into big prompts. Here I'm showing you an example of what I wrote and then what came out of ChatGPT after I asked it to be really detailed. As you can see, there's a lot of difference. I wrote little text and ChatGPT gave me a lot of text. Something that is really important to highlight here is that I had one scene that would appear many times, the news anchor, and I needed it to look like the same in all of these different scenes. But there's something that maybe you don't know, that VEO3 only makes 8-second videos. So I cannot create that same person talking for 30 seconds. I have to every time create a new person who's speaking again, and that person may look different. If you don't specify, AI will go crazy and create whatever it wants. So that's why I use ChatGPT to create really specific prompts that I could use again and again and again that would create more or less the same vibe. Then it was time for step 4, which is deciding my tools. I use VEO3 for all my lengthy scenes. Every scene that I needed to be HD, had dialogue, or anything that was more complex. Why? Because right now, VEO3 is the best technology that we have that goes from text to video. But at the same time that this is the best tool, it is also the most expensive tool, because for every iteration that you're using on VEO3, you're spending 100 credits, and that's pretty expensive. So I decided, okay, my 8 big scenes, I'm going to do it with VEO3. My 8 B-rolls, I'm going to use VEO2, which is a less quality version of VEO3 that goes faster and it's cheaper, but for me to create B-rolls, that was perfect. And I also decided to have a person speaking. I didn't want to use my expensive credits doing VEO3 or VEO2 videos, so that's why I decided to use Google AI Studio in order to use their text-to-speech technology to create my audios. So after I had all of this done, I had my script, I had my prompts, and then I knew my technology. This was the time to start creating, and to me, this was one of the best parts. This is when I started using VEO3. So here I use the prompts that I created with ChatGPT in the previous step, and then I just put it there in the platform, and then I did video after video after video until I had something good to show. I decided to start with VEO3 because those were the lengthy, the hardest. This was like the meat of my project. I needed those to be good before starting to do, the extras. One thing that I would like to say in this step is that when you watch the video, you look at it and you think, oh my God, artificial intelligence is so amazing. The technology is so good. We're going to die, whatever. But the point is, the technology itself is not that good. What you're seeing there are the best of the best iterations that I had. But to every video that you've seen, I probably did like 15 that went to the trash. So it's not like that technology is always spitting like great quality. No, it's actually spitting trash, and you're literally trying to find the good stuff within the trash. Quickly, I would like to share 6 things that were really annoying when I was developing with VEO3. 1, there was a lot of videos that came without audio, so that was pretty annoying. Some videos were amazingly looking, but they had no audio whatsoever. Wasted credits. 2, teeth were always a problem. I had to do so many iterations because VEO3 could not make proper teeth. Here are 2 iterations of the same guy that I had to do so many times because VEO3 kept putting something black on its teeth and I didn't understand why, and at one point it worked. But until it worked, I spent so much money in order to get the good scene. 3, even without asking, VEO3 would just put a bunch of text on my videos without prompted, without anything. I didn't want text to be there. VEO3 would just add text and the text would look bad, so I would have to do new iterations until I didn't have anything with text. And even adding, please don't add any text, that didn't help. They would still put text there. Another problem that I had is that a lot of times weird people would just come out of the blue. So there's a scene, I think that there's 2 people or 3, and then the camera pans, and out of the blue there's another person coming out of there. It makes no sense, logically speaking. So I had to do more iterations because the logic didn't work on the videos. Another problem that I had is that the hands always looked weird. There were so many times that or the hands looked too fake, or there were too many fingers, or the hand would just move in different ways. bad, so I had to do more iterations. And another problem that I had were the eyes. Many times the eyes looked dead or they were looking to different directions, really uncanny valley vibes. And again, why am I sharing this? Because what I don't want you to think is that you watch that video and you're like, oh, amazing, I'm going to pay $125 and I'm going to create an amazing video. No, the videos that you see in the video are like the creme of the videos that I created, because most of them were literally unusable. But of course, it was still fun to create a video out of text, right? That is an amazing technology that we have. So while I was editing the videos, I thought it was also interesting to share with you how the platforms actually work. So I use VEO3 using Flow, which is Google's, I think, creative suite. Basically, you just create the AI generated videos there and you can already put them all together. I use CapCut to do that. I didn't see the value on using Flow to do the video editing. Here it is. This is how it looks like. Really similar to ChatGPT. There's a little box. You put the text here. You wait maybe like 4 minutes and then they create a video. Here, I wanted to show you that the first video that I have as an example is already a video that is glitchy. As you can see here, I'm going to press play. They added this really weird mic to my expert. This is already a clear sign that this is AI generated, right? I also wanted to share with you how different they all look. I'm using the same prompt, the same way to describe the news anchor, but here you can see they have the same vibe-ish, but still they look extremely different to each other. So here you can see that I didn't ask for text to appear. VEO3 just added text on top and it just looks extremely weird, like glitchy. This is, clearly AI generated. So these are the bunch of videos that I had to create in order to make the video that you watched. Is a lot of videos. Okay, so now that I showed you this, let's go to the next topic. So after I had the big videos created, it was time to create my B-rolls. And to me, this was one of my favorite parts because it was just so easy to do. In this case, I use VEO2 since VEO2 is a little bit less complex than VEO3. It just works faster. It glitches a lot less. So I could just literally put my 8 scenes there. Maybe I did like 1 or 2 iterations per scene that I needed, but VEO2 was pretty quick, pretty fast, and I was like in and out and done. So after I had my B-rolls, it was time to create my news reporter dialogue. Here's where I decided to go to the Google AI Studio and then just go there in the section that they have, which is text to speech, and write my text. Basically, as you can see here, there's a lot of things you can do. In my case, what I did was generate media and I went to Gemini speech generation. And then here I put single speaker audio because of course I only needed one person to speak. So in this part, you have 2 sections, right? The style instructions and then what you want them to speak. Here I put the text, what I actually wanted them to speak. And then on top, I wrote something like that. A confident American female voice in her 30s, blah, blah, blah. But this is basically how it works. You put the style of instructions, then you put what you want to hear, and then you run. This will take like 3 minutes, and then it will finish with an audio that you can actually test and hear to see if you like it or not. This part itself was not a problem. Maybe I did like 15 iterations, 16, 3 different sentences that I wanted to use, and I just really had to mix and match. Again, having that prompt that was really specific really helped me because since I had different sentences that I wanted to use, I could more or less have the same voice. Lastly, this was the time to put everything together. Honestly, what I did here was just adding some colors, some subtitles because there's some people that are speaking Portuguese, and then cutting some scenes that put 1 millisecond more, they would be like a weird AI glitch. After all these steps, the video was born. Hey, I'm so happy. I'm literally so happy that honestly this worked out. I hope this has helped somehow. I don't know if it did. I don't know if it was just like a bunch of blah, blah, blah. When I did this video, I had no one to look to. I didn't know the order of how I should do things. So I just created my own thing. So if you have a better way of doing things, just put them down in the comment and I'm happy to discuss them. There's one thing that I wanted to say before we go to the end of the video is that there's a lot of resources that were spent in order to create this video. I couldn't be an AI ethicist if I didn't acknowledge everything. So let's start. To create this video, I had to spend an outrageous amount of money, which I think it's $125. Know that $125 is a lot of money to be spending on a 1-minute video. I'm aware of that. Yes. It's a lot of money and there's nothing I can say about that. Second thing is that we know that when we're using artificial intelligence, there's a lot of planet resources that go there. To me, I really had to stop and think. I think that the idea of the video will have more pros than cons. I wanted people to understand that this technology is here and that they have to pay attention before it is too late. To me, it was a little bit like the ends justify the means. I thought that the end goal that I had was okay in terms of the negatives that I would have, which is losing my money and using resources. Again, maybe you don't agree with me or maybe you do, and that's completely fine, and I'm really happy to talk about this over the comment section because I know that this is more complex, but I just wanted to, not finish the video just saying like, ooh, I spent so much money and whatever. No, I think it's important to acknowledge that this is a lot of money and these are a lot of resources to be used in a video. Now to my final thoughts. To me, this was a really fun experience. Why? Because I'm an AI ethicist. I always talk about artificial intelligence. So it was actually really nice to be, kind of like swimming in the tools, understanding how it's working, seeing the glitches firsthand. So, seeing the problems with the hands and the eyes and the nose and everything. It's really nice to see this in the iterations because, again, the things that we see in the internet normally are the pretty things and no one is posting the bad iterations that come along. So it was nice to have that experience. So if you have any questions about how I did a specific part, or if you want me to break down, a specific section, just let me know and I'm happy to teach you more. This was today's video. I hope you liked it, and please don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to learn more about artificial intelligence and how to stay protected. I make videos like this one every week. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, please everyone, stay sharp. Bye bye.